welcome to Critical Hit, a Major Spoilers podcast. Thank you so much for checking us out this week. Oh, man. Last week's episode was so cool. Or I should say the last episode was so cool because I know we had a couple holidays in there. Kevin, what's going on with you?
What's going on with me is I've been ready for this episode for a while, and I'm super excited. And you guys, being the crew of the Squeaky Clean, the Drifters, are on your first drift race, specifically on the planet of Akaton, the red mining planet that's a burnt-out husk of what it once was, primed to be used as the cinematic backdrop for a high-stakes, high-violence group of desperate racers, yourselves included.
Hey, I'm all for it.
Yeah, and you had encountered several other ships, or rather crews of their other ships, who you are competing against. A group of Formians, a group that seems to have an enmity with Vangi and Hecubino, Sam and Rodrigo's characters, from their past, the new Team Rust Dragon, and what seems to be a team of audition rejects from you guys, Team Brainpower.
Team Pair the Spares.
Knockoffs.
They only wish they were as cool as us.
So you had just finished like the introduction to the race. You know, basically driven down the straightaway in your buggy, the Sand Skink, and there was some jockeying for position. There was some going for various upgrades. You guys got a weapons upgrade by pitching your product to for your sponsors. So you have a special Space Sud spray you can use, and you were just about to exit that kind of initial straightaway and into the next section of the race, but you do not know what the future holds for you.
So we're going into a canyon?
Yes, you are about to go into the canyon known as the Rift Spires last time.
On Critical Hit.
On Critical Hit.
And that is where you had left off. You do not know what is in store for you in the Rift Spires, but it's sure to be full of surprises and twists and turns.
Rifts and Spires.
Presumably. So, as we begin the game, we'll take a quick aside and look at things from the viewer's perspective. So imagine this is all on your view screen. You can be watching it from your little wrist comm, projecting a hologram, or at home, safe on your little industrial couch, wherever. And projected to you, however you're viewing Drifters, is a middle-aged Vesk man wearing kind of industrial overalls and giving like an earnest look at the camera. And he says, "Hi there. I'm Caroso, the founder and owner of Ten Havens Security. As a small businessman myself, well, not that small. I found I was having trouble securing my workforce and properties. But when I use other companies' products, I'm left drowning in wrongful termination of employment and life lawsuits and criminal use of disintegrators fines. Who has time for all these pesky regulations? Even security, with a line of fine tasers and shock pikes. They're so versatile. Need your warehouse secured? Shock pike arrays and electrostatic field generators. Is your labor force giving you guff about conditions, hours, or missing pay? Why don't you prod them back to work with our productivity jolters? Are the beggars you have to pass on your way from the launch pads or mag trains getting too close with their grubby little hands? Keep them a safe distance away with our whiplash line of lightning whips." All Ten Haven security devices are certified somewhat violent and not necessarily lethal, meaning your legal team will sleep easy while you can get your people back to work. Don't believe me? Well, I'm not just a founder, I'm also a client. Get back to work!
Nice.
Ten Haven Security. Security with a spark. They are notably you see the Ten Haven Security logo and image on the Basilisk. The new team Rust Dragon has chosen this company as their sponsor. But with that, you guys come back from commercial, and we're back at that same little desk, the announcement desk, with the human and the floating jellyfish Barathu. And they will give you their little intro spiel before the camera cuts back to you guys. Welcome back, folks, to the 27th season of Drifters, the Galaxy's infosphere show that doesn't ask why, but instead asks why not. It's been so long, it feels like weeks since our sponsors aired their ads. We really should do something about hypnosis and advertising. I'll mention it to the network. Anyways, I'm your host, Jack Hammer, joined by Shulai, my Barathu co-host. Is it just me, or do you have significantly more tentacles than before the commercial break? I'm sure that's your imagination, human co-host Jock. But let's focus on the real stars here, the Drifters. They're about to enter the race's second section, perhaps the most difficult challenge for the crew's pilot, specifically. And let's not forget their gunners, engineers, and medics. They're going into the Rift Spires, a deadly corridor of twisting turns and topsy-turvy tricks that they can use against their opponents. Let's get back to the action. And with that, the cameras cut to you guys on board the Sand Skink, driving into the canyon that is the Rift Spires. So, you had been following the Formian vehicle, the Colonizer, which had jumped off to an early lead. Bringing up the rear was the Basilisk, the new team Rust Dragons, big wheel honkin' truck. And then the Tripod of Doom was somewhere right around you guys, but there are multiple entrances to the canyons, so you quickly lose track of them. You might spot them again as you start driving through the canyons. But for right now, you don't have an enemy in sight, and it's your guys' action. We've already rolled initiative, so we're ready to go. You're driving through the canyons of the Rift Spires, which I will give you a quick description of, then turn it over to you guys to act. So you're barreling into these canyons. The horizon disappears, and you're forced to make a sharp turn after turn. So Bob, you're keeping pretty busy here to keep from slamming into towering shafts of stone. You see lots of different colors of strata in the stone, like tan and red and scarlet, and I don't know what color that is, and it hurts my eyes to look at it, and orange. And the gorge walls are all pockmarked with previous explosions and laser scorch marks, with some looking fairly recent and others could be centuries old. There are some ruins from other vehicles that have been left to bake and rust, and some desiccated skeletons show the remains of their crews. Unlike a typical canyon with two walls between two mountains, this valley is known for its eponymous spires, narrow pillars of rock that stretch to the sky, sometimes precariously balanced in a very tall hourglass-like formation, with wide mesas sitting atop columns that don't seem wide enough to support them. In fact, you see the signs of many of these spires having previously crashed to the ground, toppling other spires and crushing whatever was beneath them. So that could be your fate if you don't navigate carefully. but you're also in a race. So good luck. All right, so we're going to go back right into initiative. Keep in mind, there's lots of different things you can do on board the ship, even if you're not immediately in combat. So we're going to go to Skritic.
Oh, right off the bat?
Right off the bat.
Can I go ahead and try to help chart a course to help the pilot make it through without us getting dashed on rocks?
Yeah, that seems totally reasonable. So you're going to use the scanners that are on board the buggy?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Do you think that would be... I'm okay with that being a survival check or a perception check or a physical science check. Like, what are you trying to gather info about specifically?
I was kind of thinking survival, just to get information of the terrain, see if there's perhaps precarious formation that we may be able to make use to maybe cut off pursuers or whatever. Or just
okay. Why don't you give me a survival check and we'll see how it all turns out.
All right. 29.
All right. So Skritic knows these tunnels well, and you can parse what the scanners are telling you and translate that into real practical advice. So what you can tell is you can basically see this little section of the map, and you're going to have to make a lot of quick turns just regardless. In fact, I can tell you that since you've succeeded at this check, basically if you're going at full speed in here, you take an additional -2 penalty to piloting checks. So because of all the obstacles. Furthermore, you now know that at the end of your pilot's turn, they have to make a piloting check with a certain DC that I know and you don't, or you'll collide with a wall or pillar and suffer some damage to the vehicle. It might not be catastrophic, but it could be bad. Lastly, there are spires that you can target with weapons. And if you successfully deal enough damage to the spire, you can cause a burst of stone and debris to fall on the area around it, meaning that vehicles in that area will have to basically make pilot checks as though they were reflex saves to dodge the collapsing stones or take damage.
Nice.
Also, I'll say with your little successful scanning check, you detect up ahead the colonizer.
Yeah. All right. Colonizers ahead. Slow and steady is the idea in this situation, guys. Keep your heads up.
All right. Well, with that advice, it actually goes immediately to your pilot, Bob.
Oh, hello. So I guess the first thing that I'm going to do is slow this thing down to not super fast speed, but just crazy speed.
Yeah, not at insano speed, but just normally
downgrade from ludicrous to plaid.
Yeah, just the speed of 5, I suppose.
Okay.
And I'm going to want to, from the looks of what I'm seeing, it looks like there's 2 formations, one to the left and one to the right of us, and I want to kind of shoot through those 2 and then immediately kind of swerve to the right, away from the other ship.
Sure. Up to you guys on whether you're being conflict averse or seeking out violence. But yes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yep.
Go ahead and give me. So you have slowed down, which is good. And then give me a piloting check because you still do need to. You're going through that corridor, and you have to be careful not to hit the sides.
Yeah. 23.
It's like Operation, except your life depends on it.
Yeah.
23. 23 is good enough.
Yay.
So the vehicle does not take damage at this time. You have successfully slowed down. You're actually in pretty much point-blank range of the colonizer as it seems to be trying to navigate these twists and turns as well. before you're able to make that veer to the right.
Okay.
So that brings up the Tripod of Doom from behind you, and it is going to lash out with one of its... it has these little tentacles that I think I've mentioned before. They're metal, but so they're metal tendrils that reach out from the central minaret of this enormous silver tripod, and they are small enough to attack people individually. And this tentacle is going after you, Bob.
No, not again.
Yeah. It's going to try to clamp something onto your skull. So, what is your KAC?
KAC is 14.
Ooh, so even though you do get a +2 bonus from cover from the vehicle, you are narrow. It slides under the railings of the buggy, and despite your crewmates' efforts at pushing it away, it manages to basically the tendril reaches up right behind you and explodes open into like a little skull cap, and it clamps onto your skull.
Oh no.
Yeah, the problem with that is you immediately are engaged in psychic combat with Talos. So, Talos was ready for this. Why don't you go ahead and give me a will saving throw against his psychic onslaught?
Ooh, 13.
Ooh, 13. Yikes.
Now,
so, go ahead.
That's not a skill check, right? We don't have that +2 or anything from last time?
No,
okay.
No. Yeah, you do not have any bonuses to will saves at this time, I believe. So, Talos is taking a page out of your guys' playbook, and he has trapped you, Bob, in an endless series of repeating tasks within your mind, where there's just an infinite number of knobs and dials to turn, and you're on this timer, and you have to move from one task to another, but it never ends, and you realize it's just wrapping around, and you're beginning to lose time. And to the rest of your crewmates, it looks like you're beginning to drift off at the wheel, like you are dazed, because you are dazed.
Boo.
Yes. So the good news is you just acted. The bad news is you won't act next turn. And you will also automatically fail any pilot check you are forced to make because you're not there. So, after that, you hear the sounds of the high-powered engines and jet thrusters and stuff of the big rig of the Basilisk, but it seems way behind you, so they're struggling to catch up. That brings it to Amu. Amu, what do you do?
Trying to figure that out.
So the tentacle, for what it's worth, has withdrawn. Once it, or tendril, or whatever you want to call it, once it connected with Bob and latched on that little skull clamp, it was good and it retreated. The cap is still there, though.
Can I use medicine to try and remove the cap? And
Absolutely.
Potentially treat whatever is going on?
Be careful, the low jack on his head will crush him. It's probably got a die pack in it, too.
That'll be a 31.
Yay.
Okay, so you need somebody's help with this. Like, you know how to do it, but the thing is just physically cumbersome. Who do you ask for help?
Bengi,
yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
So, between you and... So, Sam, does Bengi help out?
Oh, yeah.
Great. So you guys are able to pull, and as you do so, like you're able, using your claws and pieces of coral Amu, to cut. You know which ones are like the most important ones that are safe to cut. While you're pulling this cap off of Bob's head. Bob and Amu, what's your reaction as these things are being, as you know, it's still connected to you and still trying to sink its metal claws into you, but it's getting peeled off like a particularly nasty leech from your skull.
Well, if I'm still dazed, I probably just sense a lot of pain in my head, but probably don't know why.
Cool. Amu, anything from you?
Concentration, just making sure we're not causing more damage to Bob than necessary to get this off of there.
Sure, you're pretty sure he'll be fine. All right, you peel it off. Good work. Anything else? That's certainly your main action for the turn. What do you do with it? It's still writhing in your hands.
Shove it into my shell somewhere safe.
Interesting. Bold choice. I like it. Research later.
It might
cool.
be necessary.
Then, if that's it for our coral medic friend, it is time for Bob's fellow robot, Quentin.
I have 2 ideas, both of which are probably against the rules.
That tracks.
All right, so question 1. When using diplomacy, am I allowed to use the James T. Kirk definition of diplomacy and zap people with the big frap gun? The old cowboy diplomacy?
So, there is a different skill called Intimidate that is sometimes applicable.
Oh, I'm bad at that.
Well, what are you trying to do?
Well, I had 2 thoughts. My first thought was to shoot at Talos's face. Okay. Because I don't like his big stupid face.
Sure. There's no way that would be a diplomacy check.
My other thought was more of a and I don't know if this would fall under computers or not. Would it be possible for me to temporarily take control of Bob's motor functions using my superior computer number to pilot the ship temporarily until Bob's brain reawakens?
So normally I'd be like a hard no, like right. You can't hack other people's brains.
Right.
Or at least not,
There's
easily.
Literally a hole in his skull. I mean.
Well, so wait for it. If you got that skull cap from Amu, then maybe the answer is not necessarily no.
All right.
Do you have piloting?
Do I?
Yeah.
I have computers. Bob has piloting.
Oh, okay. You're trying to turn him back on. I see.
Basically, what I would be doing is just using.
Bob is more than just a computer.
But I said Bob has a computer. I didn't say Bob is a computer. We are more than computers.
You can use that new hacking feature we just got, which I assume uses computers.
Oh, we do have that hacking feature. Ooh. Quentin is going to ask Amu for the hat.
Amu hands it over.
All right. Quentin is going to open up the middle third, and many little appendages and tools and drills and things are going to just pop out of his midsection. And Quentin is going to try and use the hat to keep Bob functioning until Bob awakens and is Bob once again.
Oh, so, I was suggesting using the hacking thing to hack into, we got a hacking power up.
It's your turn, Vangie. He's got a plan. And I don't think you're getting in the way. You can talk disapprovingly.
Kevin wants me to do this foolish plan so that whatever bad things happen will be my fault. Is what it is.
Yep, that's legit.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you on this. So I would like to try that.
All right. So you get the skull cap back from Amu. Mm-hmm. You open up, your segments of yourself and start, doing diagnostics on the cap and plugging into various ports and, typing in things. And then you go and put the cap back on Bob? Because it has to be, or it won't work. Okay, cool. Great. So why don't you give me a computers check?
All right. And if this works, the first thing Bob will say is what every computer type mind says when it reactivates. I am TWKI. Ow!
Oh no.
Oh, that's too good.
Nice.
Nice.
I love to
Perfect.
see it.
Way to go.
Oh, I just broke Bob.
All right.
Blue
So
screen.
I will say this: you did
Why does
succeed.
this eye have a red ring, and why won't it go away?
You did succeed at interfacing with Bob, and you do have some control over his motor skills. So you can make him say or do something right now. Something really simple, not even a full action, just something basic if you want.
Bob says, "Hello."
Hello, world. Okay, cool. And immediately after that, you are also engaged in psychic combat. Now the three of you are all occupying the same, or well, you two and Talos are occupying the same mindscape that Talos seems to have far more control over than either of you. You're able to somehow parse reality through some of your other filters, but it feels distant, like you're watching it on a small screen or something like that, as opposed to the mental combat world that you have now engaged yourself in via this technological device, and interfacing your brain to Bob's brain to Talos's brain.
Told you. Kevin had evil in mind.
Yeah, I mean the one really helped that out though.
It did, yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, probability helps to mess it up. But he was just laughing at his evil laugh. All right, so is there anything I can do, or is that my turn?
Oh no, that's your turn. You took your action, and it was a doozy.
All
right. So the colonizer sees you guys right on its tail, and it does not like that because it doesn't have a tail. It has like insectoid stingers and such. So it's going to launch some acid pods at the sand skink. So what is the sand skink's EAC, Bob?
Its EAC right now is 15.
15. Oh, all right. So, believe it or not, you're able to dodge this particular volley of acid pods, which is great because they explode into the nearby stone and just scorch through them, like making little tunnels as they go. They were definitely fairly hard-hitting attacks, and the colonizer.
I stunned the colonizer's pilot last.
Ooh,
game.
last time.
Critical hit.
Mm-hmm.
Well then they're not going anywhere until they deal with that, but they did unsuccessfully launch their acid pods at you. So great, good action, guys. Vangie.
So what a mess. So I'm gonna look at having like held on to Bob to help get that like cap off of him. The whole situation with him and Quentin, and just push them out of the way, and grab the wheel to be prepared to make the pilot check next round, since he's going to be out of it.
Sure. So I will certainly let you grab the wheel, but I actually was ruling that grabbing the wheel in order to make things like more dynamic and quick paced, you can do that as a reaction. So you actually still have your action for the turn.
Fantastic. Then is there one of those pillars that we can apparently shoot at? Like, is there one of those in the area where the colonizer is?
This one right ahead? Or this one
exactly.
right ahead of you? Yeah, for sure.
So I'm going to try to shoot at the one that's right ahead of us to try to get it to scatter some debris on the colonizer.
Great, and you're using the
main
turret
guns.
Mount, the railgun?
Yes, the railgun, exactly.
Okay. Well, why don't you go ahead and make your attack roll?
All right, it's just a standard range attack with my weapon focus applying?
That's correct. Which one are you targeting, by the way? The near one or the far one?
Womp womp. Well, I was gonna target the
boy.
near one, but I've done not
you
one
target
because
the near one. No, no. It's all good. It's all
Yep,
good.
yep,
You guys are
yep,
doing
yep.
great. You're doing
Oh
great.
man,
So, unfortunately, you do target the near one. And when you target the near one, this happens.
great.
So you successfully hit that near one. Unfortunately, the way you hit it right on, and you're like, yeah, that was great. And then it just starts tipping forward. You can just see the mesa tumbling straight down, not to any side, but straight back towards you guys. And it is about to crush you. So this would be that time where you go ahead and jump in and make that reaction to take over piloting, because otherwise, Bob's going to immediately fail his piloting check to dodge out of the way.
Yeah. I'm gonna try to fix the problem I just created.
Can I hold up a
So
little
I should make
hand-painted
that.
sign
So
that
do
says
I make a
"Yikes"?
piloting check right now, or
Yes, make a piloting check. And
okay?
yes,
And
you certainly
do I have
can
a
hold up my
-2 to
sign.
that right now, or
So, you are currently getting a +2 bonus for being off-roading, because you're not on any where you're going. You don't need roads, and you are not at full speed. So, Stephen, when Bob decelerated, he successfully saved you from taking a -4 penalty. So,
oh, great,
the net result is make your piloting check with a +2 bonus.
fantastic. All right, so that's gonna be that number.
Whoa!
Oh my god, that is
Okay, the
not.
universe
We
is
rolled
broken.
2 our last 3 rolls have all been nat ones.
Yeah.
Well, it's been fun playing with you guys.
Wow. Wow.
Join us next week for our new game.
Spectacular.
Someone is tracking the vehicle's hull and or hit points and such.
I guess we are now.
Great. So the
they
good
have
news
to.
is it has a hardness, so you can subtract that from this. The bad news is you take 13 damage from
Ow.
the crushing rocks.
Okay.
Is the 8 in parentheses, is that like current damage? Like, have we taken
That's the damage that
already?
we took last time, I believe.
On critical hit.
So I believe that that number has been there since the beginning,
Oh, okay.
and that number represents when your vehicle is broken.
Ah, gotcha.
So basically, if you take your whole vehicle's hit points and damage, it is blown apart and cannot be salvaged. If you are below its broken value, you start taking really serious penalties, and you need to fix it. But there's things you can do, to jury rig things until you can get it properly fixed.
Okay, so how much damage did we just take?
13 damage.
Oh wait, no, we only took 8 because of the hardness.
Oh, right.
So we are at 22 of 30 hit points.
Okay.
All right. And the buggy is covered in rubble, so it's going to be a little difficult to get out too.
Oh no.
Oh boy.
All right. That was that was Vangi's turn?
Yep.
Well, I will save you the end of turn pilot check to avoid running into things, because that, didn't work.
We just did that.
It's too late for that.
And you don't get any extra movement because you've already moved this round. So that's going to bring it up to Hecubino.
Okay. Well,
Also point out, because you guys may have forgotten, that things like your popularity, like how well you're doing on all the interwebs versus your competitors does matter, as well as whether you have successfully promoted your product. Now, you did promote your product last time, so there might be diminishing returns, but still.
sure. Is the tripod within the arc of our suds?
Yes, it is, actually.
Okay, I might do that unless it requires some sort of roll that I'm completely terrible at. Hopefully, it's just a save for them.
Let's see here. Yes, so you can activate the space suds, and that's going to basically force them to make a check,
Right.
or suffer a collision. So you can just take your action and spray them as much as you want.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that. See if I can get some pressure off.
Cool. Does Hecubino say or do anything as he emits the jet of sudsy green spray?
Yeah. He hops on and then looks back at his crew and says, "Figure it out, guys," and then pulls on it.
Great. So Hecubino's trying to buy you guys some time from Team Brainpower right behind you. That brings it back up to Skritic. A little bit more going on this time round.
Yeah.
You gave them such good navigation advice, and then they ran right into the thing.
If I can manage to fire reverse thrusters, will that be enough to pull us out of the rock pile?
Well, so this is a buggy still, so you can put it into reverse, but you're not the driver. Vangi is. You could try to kick her out of the way and try to take over piloting.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm wondering. Can I squeeze in underneath?
Yep.
Between Vangi and Bob. Yeah.
Excuse me. Pardon me.
Yep. Come up from under.
Vangi, do you allow Skritic to take the wheel?
will. Having just royally messed up, she'll put her hands up in the air and just be my guest.
Yeah, I will try to do that until our normal pilot can resume.
All right. So, what speed are you going to try to get the sand skink up to? The options are normal unsafe speed or ludicrous super unsafe speed.
We are kind of stuck in some rocks, right?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Would going to an unsafe speed help jar us out, maybe?
Yeah, I mean, might be safer to go to a safe speed, but you might also have a harder time getting out of this mess if you don't just hit push the pedal to the metal.
I think a decent roll is going to jar us out, so you have to consider what is going to get you there.
Yeah, and this might be a Ralph Nader situation where we're unsafe at any speed.
I'm kind of nervous with the way rolls have been going recently, but I think I'm going to try an unsafe but not ludicrous speed.
All right, go ahead and make your piloting check.
Okay.
You guys didn't know that you can have Roll20 cheat for you, did you? I can just have them set whatever rolls I want for you guys.
What?
Oh, that explains
really?
everything.
Nice.
All right. So you break free, but barely, and are able to get going. Although you kind of sputter, as it hasn't got a whole lot of go under it once you get out from underneath some of the rocks.
At least we're clear. We can worry about that part later.
You do still have some extra debris scattered amongst you guys, and you're covered in dust. Oh, and I took the liberty of moving you to the camera right, which is because that's what Bob had said earlier. But I realized there's a new pilot, so do you want to go to the right, or do you want to follow the colonizer? Go to the left.
Right sounds good.
You're immune to my taunts. All right, fine.
Yeah, Skritic's got a good head on his shoulders.
That doesn't happen to be an actual ramp we could utilize ahead of us, does it?
There is not a ramp. There's just more of these horrible spires.
Okay. All right, noted. I'll keep that in mind.
Bob, you are now in mental combat with both Quentin and Talus. I almost said Matthew and Talus, but that would be very different.
Yes.
Yeah,
And meta.
I definitely win that.
So one of the things, I've got a built-in system that anytime it detects unwanted attempts to control the system, the software will kick in and try to do some antivirus removal stuff. So I'm
Oh
gonna
my god,
try
I've got a captcha.
using computers.
Sure, I like it. Go ahead
It
and make
wants
a
me to
computer check.
identify everything
16.
that's a bus. What's that about?
All right. So, Matthew, why don't you go ahead and roll or for Quentin, why don't you roll computers as well?
Hello. One moment. Hang on. I have to find where I am. My computer is asleep. There we go. Computers, you say?
All right.
Aha.
So, I've got good news and bad news for Bob. So the good news is you can eject one of the intruders from your mind. The bad news is it's Quentin.
All right, so my involuntary reflex, my arm shoots up and punches the Quentin unit in the midsection.
And that breaks you free, Quentin, and you're no longer engaged in the psychic battle. Now, Bob, you were going to lose your action anyway, for what it's
Boo.
worth, because you got dazed. So, your action had kind of already been lost.
Yeah.
But within the mindscape, you were able to sort of free Quentin / get him out of your brain. But of course, the bad news again is Quentin reconnected you to Talos. Oh, and as you're doing that, so your body punches Quentin's body. Does your mind mentally, telepathically communicate anything to Quentin?
Get out of my head.
Eloquent in its brevity. Cool. So, Quentin, you're kicked out. Then,
As I go, I want to shout, there's a saying that you can't unscramble eggs! Hey,
this
man,
is your
I gotta
mind
be
on
brand.
Quentin.
This game wants me to be on brand.
All right. So, next up is the tripod, and the tripod is going to struggle through the space studs and then fail its pilot check at the end of the round, going through this canyon and kind of topple over for a moment, then start to pick itself back up as its sharp silver legs pick through the rubble. It does have a mind link with Bob, though, so I think we're going to mind thrust. Yeah. Why don't you give me another will save there, Bob?
I will save. 19.
Oh, that's actually good. Yeah, you succeed, which I believe is going to save you some damage. So I
Woohoo.
roll it right now. Yeah, so it's really good that you saved. Your mind is overwhelmed with a glut of Talus's psychic information. But in this case, you're the weakest android in the lineup, and all the other androids are in android training programs, and they're all making fun of you.
No, don't make fun of me. I look down. I'm not wearing my coveralls.
Not wearing your casing.
Yep.
Yep.
Ah.
His wires are exposed. His wires are exposed. Stop programming yourself.
Wait, that
So, anyway, you take 14 damage after
Ouch.
you successfully made your save. I know. That was half.
And that comes out of my hit points, right?
Your stamina.
Oh, my stamina. So I've got like 4 hit points or 4 stamina left.
Yes. Yeah, it comes out of stamina first, then hit points.
Ooh.
Because hit points are the serious, now we mean business. Now you're taking real injuries. This was more mentally wearing and tearing. So that is it for the tripod, and the Team Rust Dragon seems to have finally gotten on the map. Those of you paying attention to the feed realize that they basically had to stop, kind of turn around almost and go pick up their weapons because they were so far behind, but they had to, not having weapons is not acceptable. So that brings up Amu. Last action was very effective for you, Amu, although you promptly allowed Quentin to undo it.
Let's just get this off of him again.
Okay. Medicine check.
That's only a 17.
Ooh. Okay, so you're going to need somebody's assistance, but this time it's not free. So who do you ask for assistance? By not free, I mean they have to make a skill check to succeed at it.
Which skill?
Yeah.
Well, I would allow medicine, engineering, or life science would also be acceptable, or athletics.
Proficiency crowbar.
I would take athletics.
Yep.
Yeah, I have 0 in all of the previously mentioned skills.
Yeah. Vengi, we need help again.
Yeah. She'll try to pry it open and look at Quentin like, what are you doing? Only an 11.
Oh god.
Oh boy. So you're basically stuck pulling on it, but you do not have it all the way off. So Vengi, on your action, you can take your action and you will be able to successfully pull it off.
Okay.
Yep. But you don't get it off right now on Amu's turn.
Gotcha.
Quentin.
Yes.
Is your action.
I don't know. My last few actions haven't really gone very well.
That's true.
Wow.
You've only taken
Maybe
one.
maybe you should get back on. Maybe you should spin this.
Skritic,
William?
are you from here?
Not precisely.
Do people know that?
Most likely not.
All right. So, if I'm not mistaken, there's a large population of Skritic's Yosoki people on planet Pramistat, correct?
Axon? Yes.
Yes, the one we're on.
Yes.
Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to broadcast out edited moments of everything that went right in the last turn, which is to say Skritic. And I'm going to make sure that it emphasizes the hometown boy doing good. How he is one of your own. Our own go Skritic. Everybody cheer for Skritic. And I'm going to see if maybe I can get some sympathetic awesomeness. And people are just like, wow, look at how cool he is. He's the only one in that entire Jeep who didn't just bonk it in the last round.
Nice.
So,
I like that. I would consider that your choice of a diplomacy or computers check. You're basically trying to come up with like a short, like a TikTok or meme collection of Skritic in about 5 seconds in the back of a moving Jeep. But that's what you're trained for.
With a really like what my child would call a song that slaps. A banger in the background, something awesome, something that rolls a 21.
Hey, that's pretty good.
If I use skills that I'm actually good at, these rolls are better.
All right. So, as you begin psyching up your fans, you discover that there's basically a little popularity meter. And you have moved from neutral to second best. So you are the second most popular crew right now. And as a result, there are a bunch of like little lines throughout your the hull of like the frame of the buggy. They emit some sort of nano wires and nanotech, and they start coating the surface of the buggy, and your vehicle's hardness is increased by 2.
Nice. Reflexive defensive armor.
Yes, which you get for increasing your popularity.
All right, someone make a note of it on the sheet.
So we have two. So the hardness went away
Is-
before, right?
Can I edit?
No. So here's how hardness works. Hardness is something. It's not like hit points or shields that are consumed. Hardness is kind of like damage reduction. If you've ever played like an old school of D&D, it means deduct this value before you apply
okay.
damage.
From your
So
damage.
hardness is, like let's say if your hardness is now, it was
7.
5,
7.
so now it's 7. So if I hit you for 10 damage, you're only going to take 3.
Gotcha.
Right.
Should we make a note of what its
Yeah,
standard hardness
Do
is
like
just for
do like
later?
5 parentheses plus 2 or something like that. Yeah.
Or even better, 7 plus 2.
Yeah, then
way-
it becomes 9 plus 2, which is 11
Exactly.
plus 2.
Right.
It's just endlessly. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
recursive. And I think that as a computer brain person,
But like
You'd appreciate
only
that.
one of you do it at a time because I'm watching like 3 different people try to type this out.
I'm not
Again,
touching it.
guys, figure it out.
All right. So Quentin starts hyping you up to the locals, Skritic. Does this make you comfortable, uncomfortable? You start seeing your face, with Quentin's idea of what would go along well with it being like Skritic, local hero, and music that you're not sure about as banger underlying track. I feel like Quentin and Skritic are able to make
a little bit.
eye contact or face to LED screen contact.
I
A
think
little
he's feeling
thumbs
a
up symbol
little
appears.
awkward about that. It seems like I thought I was just here for a supporting role.
All right. So now the colonizer is going to get itself free and get back on the move, and it's also going to launch a pair of Formian drones at you. Because you are right behind it. And so, let's see. Colonizer, drone launch attack. What is the vehicle's kinetic armor class?
17.
Ooh, you are narrowly missed, which means that a pair of Formian workers, these giant ant-like creatures, get tossed, shot out of excreted, out of a vehicular orifice towards you guys, and they land and skitter off into the rocks as their shells basically crack, and you guys can drive over them without them successfully boarding the vehicle.
Gross.
Vangi.
I guess I'm gonna spend my action to pry this helmet off.
Hey, there you go. Now you have this helmet. What do you do with it? It's still
I'm going to
covered in,
crush it.
You don't want to
Let
keep
me put it on your head first.
I do not want it. I want to stomp on it.
Okay.
But
So you,
Hecubino hasn't had it on his head either.
No.
hey, yeah, maybe if you put it on Hecubino's head, he could
No.
taste Talos.
No.
Could work.
Getting rid of it.
All right, so you smash it against all of the various parts of the sand skink, kick it, stomp it, spit on it, rub some dirt on it, and then throw it out the window. You then turn back to your turret gun.
Yes.
Okay, cool. Sounds good, Benki. Hecubino, you saw all of that. What do you do?
Good. Is Bob pretty messed up?
Bob, how are you looking, Bob?
I don't know. Am I still dazed?
You are not still dazed. You are coming out of being dazed. You lost your action last round, but you won't lose another.
Okay.
Unless, something else horrible happens to you.
Okay. It looks like any damage to Bob's head is being repaired, but you can tell he looks like because of the damage that he took. You can tell that he is very out of it at the moment.
Hecubino is gonna be like, "Hey, Amu,
Yeah.
does Bob have lymph nodes?"
Does Bob have lymph nodes?
Sure, he has something that would resemble a lymph.
Mm-hmm.
Something similar, at least.
I'm gonna do like an eagle's claw, and I'm just gonna like grab onto the back of Bob's neck and channel a bunch of psychic energy into him for a mystic cure.
Ooh,
Fancy.
that's cool.
Yeah, which I think is just 1d8 plus maybe something, but I don't think there's a plus to it. Let me just double check. Secure source number hit with first level. 1d8 plus my wisdom modifier. So let me roll a d8 plus my wisdom mod, which is
So real quick, I'm gonna stop you before we go too far down this.
Okay.
So you can tell by looking at him that Bob is just kind of out of sorts.
Mhm.
He is not actually wounded. That is to say, he doesn't have hit point damage, and Mystic Cure heals hit points.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, never mind then.
Yep.
I thought it healed one or the other. Okay.
Looks like it just heals hit points, I believe. Doesn't heal stamina.
Okay. All right. In that case, I guess I was just curious about whether Bob had lymph nodes.
Hey, Amu, does Bob have lymph nodes? I think so. Okay, cool.
Okay,
No
cool. I'm
reason.
gonna do something else now. Who is on top of the pops right now?
That is actually the Basilisk, the new Team Rust Dragon.
Oh, okay.
They seem to have a very capable
Social media team.
Propagandist.
Okay.
hype person. I think it's a gnome, hype gnome.
Yep.
Yeah, that's definitely true.
Okay. I am going to try to knock them down a peg.
Ooh, absolutely.
And basically, I'm going to take footage from a like camera drone or something of like that move where they try to run over us and Bob like juked them and they kind of spun out. And basically, I'm going to meme that, and I'm like, when you walk into your house and there's like a ultra mouse on the ground, and then I'm gonna make another one that's like, when you get to uni and you realize you forgot your homework, and like just like make a bunch of them and hopefully get them to like catch on.
That feel where your keys are in your other pants.
Yeah.
Nice. Great. Well, why don't you give me your choice of a bluff or intimidate check?
Okay. I'll go with bluff. They're both literally the same roll, but let's go with bluff.
That is fine.
17.
That is good enough to lower their popularity by 1, and that means you're also increasing your popularity by 1. So you are now the most popular, relatively.
Sure.
You're the most popular vehicle. So the extra thrusters and engines kick in, and your like how easy it is to move the steering wheel. It just got like suddenly like the best power steering in the world. And so the vehicle's piloting bonus increases by 2. So you're now getting an extra +2 to piloting checks. And its hardness is increased by 2. So
is that a permanent change, or does that only maintain while we're in first position?
What do you think?
I think you're mean, so probably it only maintains while we're in first position.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So
okay.
Yeah. So now you guys are raking it in with the fans. You've boosted your own popularity and taunted another team. That's fantastic. It goes back around to Skritic. Who's
Does
even
Bob seem
driving
to be
this
back
thing?
at the
Is this
wheel,
still Skritic?
or
Yeah, Skritic is.
Yeah, but can he give the wheel to Bob?
Bob can take it as a reaction.
yeah? So give him back control of the vehicle
Oh, thank you.
and
Get out of his lap.
Yeah.
Oh, did we have to make the check versus crashing at the end of the round?
You will hear in just a second.
Okay,
Yeah, Brian made it last time because he was
Yep.
piloting.
got it.
So we're gonna do it on Bob's turn.
Yep.
Assuming we get to Bob's turn and he's still at the wheel.
Right. 'Cause who knows who'll be piloting the ship in 5 minutes.
Yep, so it is still Skritic's turn. Bob has successfully taken the wheel from you, Skritic. What do you do?
Do we got an unmanned weapon right now?
Yeah, the plasma cannon in the back isn't manned.
I guess we're kind of played. Do we got anyone in our rear arc?
Yeah, you could hit the tripod of doom.
Yeah, might as well do it. Tired of rainbugs. I'll try that. Just make a ranged attack roll.
Yes, that's correct. Versus
Yes.
their EAC. Which I'm looking at.
Also, would it be possible to hit that pillar that's directly behind us? Could that?
Yes, you could certainly target the pillar and either try to create a little cave in behind you, which would get in their way, or slash crush them a bit.
Yeah, I like that idea. Let's do that thing.
So Hecubino nods to Skritic and points out the pillar.
Yep.
Cool.
Let's try that.
Okay, so you hit.
20.
Why don't you roll 2d10 as the damage?
All right.
Hey, that is exactly good enough to collapse this pillar. Oh no, tripod not succeeding at the piloting checks. That's unfortunate.
Heck yeah.
Halicon letting him down.
That's because there's still some residual my brain in there.
All right. So you have definitely made things worse for everyone behind you, Skritic, by smashing another one of these spires. That brings up Bob.
So I'm back to my faculties now?
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to take a look around, see where we're at. Who's sitting in the in shotgun seat?
Who's sitting in shotgun?
At
I think
this point,
moved all the way to the
Probably
back.
Quentin, huh?
Could be anybody.
Yeah,
Could
at
be
this point
Amu?
it's either me or Quentin, since Amu is like literally built into the side of the Jeep. So
Yeah, and I'm
Right.
back
Quentin
at the
did
guns.
just slap a helmet on your face, so probably Quentin.
All right.
Yep.
I'm going to look over and do my best Magnum PI eye wiggle, my eyebrows wiggle. And I'm going to stomp the accelerator all the way down to the floor.
Oh no.
And we're going to take off, and we're going to start going to the left in between those two columns so we can pull up alongside the other group, and then start to, right as we round the column that'll be to our right, we'll swing into the right to try to thread through those last two spires there.
Oh, nice.
Whoa.
All right.
So that will be with piloting.
Yes.
Now
So,
this is pod racing.
Yes, 26. Because of we're in first place, we had a +2 to piloting, plus we had +2 while we were off-roading, so that's a +4. You said when we're going at full speed at 8, we have a subtract 4, so that 26 stands by itself.
Yep, that's exactly right. Woo! So your goal is to go 1, 2, 3, 4, like basically
No, we want to go to the left. So
to the left. Okay.
Yeah, so swerve off to the left.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
And then start swerving into the right to go in between those last
7,
two.
8. So
Yep.
just a classic cutoff maneuver.
and then I scream, "You guys better blow something up behind us."
All right. You guys are
Rack 'em.
ahead. How about that? You're in the lead. You're in the lead in popularity, and you're in the lead in the race. And the tripod starts digging itself out. Gotta make a check for that. Yep. And it starts gradually moving forward. The basilisk, oh boy, so far behind, but beginning to catch up a little bit, I guess, with everybody else. There's some. The basilisk starts unloading on the tripod and the colonizer, and acid pods are going everywhere. And there's the red iron manning a giant, coil gun, and it's just going, doo, 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 and he's just shouting, "Get some!" at them. But that's all behind you, so that doesn't really. That's all great for you guys. Amu, what do you do? You're coming up on the end of this section. You can see that the spires are starting to fade, and you're going to move into the next section of the race.
All right. How well did the basilisk hinder the other two ships?
You could make a scanner roll. It's shooting them. It's dealing damage to. They're not particularly. All the ships have taken some damage at this point, but they're not broken, so they're all operational. Or,
Okay.
I should say ships, but vehicles.
You're gonna hack them?
I can try and hack them, but
You can hack. You can hack any of them. Actually, I think they're all within range, just barely.
Heck, all three of them.
let's go with the colony ship.
Okay. The colony ship is covered in living organic circuitry, so it definitely is hackable. So you pull open the little scanner kit and start typing away?
Yeah.
Cool. Why don't you give me a computers check?
A 20?
Yay, that's good. Let's look up hacking, shall we? All right, so you have a few different things you can try to do. First of all, if there's a specific thing you're attempting, let me know. But one thing that you can do that's just kind of a general rule about hacking is if you succeed by enough, you can gain root access to their system. And that doesn't do anything by itself, but it lowers all your subsequent DCs. So it makes all the subsequent checks a lot easier. Otherwise, you can try to interfere with a system like steering or weapons or a special system, or you can try to do something else if you have something in mind.
Can I use a system?
You can try.
Specifically, I guess weapons is what they used to send the Formians to try and board us?
Yep, that's right.
All right. We're going to send them at one of the other two ships.
Which one would you like to send it at?
Let's go with the tripod.
Piling it on. Didn't you guys swear to protect him or something like that?
Yeah,
whatever.
I'm
See,
protecting
this is
him
why
by
we
removing
didn't
him
take
from
the
the
money up
race.
front.
Exactly.
Great.
If you-
So, why don't you go ahead and roll another d20 there for me, Amu?
Same check?
No, just a d20.
Just a D20.
You're making basically the vehicles check for them because I like to put it in your hands.
Ooh.
Classic.
For
That's
exactly
nice.
that reason. So you have launched the Formian launchers, but they get stuck in the pipes of the vehicle, and you see the basically back end of the colonizer explode in acid as it ejects several exoskeletons of dead Formian drones. It looks like that system is disabled. It took me a moment to realize that you were rolling their check, so you rolling a natural one was good for you.
Oh.
Oh, you
Yeah.
just killed 15 people.
Yeah, some drone ants.
I mean, they're like ants. They don't really have individual.
I mean, yeah, but
identities.
he probably doesn't have an actual Hippocratic oath.
It's a good thing there aren't any Sheeran in this party because being like, they're just bugs. They don't have any individuality.
They're a hive.
Yep, so that did not go quite according to plan, but, here we are. Quentin.
Okay. I want to do something incredibly foolhardy, but hear me out.
I love it. Just do it.
Okay.
I need
I'm just gonna mute myself now.
Quiet, you. This is a good one. This is a good plan. Okay, so here's my thing. The main gun is on a turret. Does it have a 360-degree range?
Arc? Yes.
The railgun. So theoretically, one could spin the railgun 360 degrees.
That's correct.
And at this point, there are spires on either side of us.
That's correct.
So if someone were, say, spheroid, that someone could hop up out of the chair, roll down the length of the railgun, grasp the back of the railgun with one's claw, swinging the railgun around in a 360-degree arc above everyone's head, not cutting off anyone's head unless Vanky doesn't remember to duck, and attempt to actually shoot both spires so they come down behind us in a huge foolhardy explosion of might, while also broadcasting this to everyone to see, look how awesome we are when we show off.
So believe it or not, that is an action that's almost just directly supported by the rules.
I don't believe it.
It's called make a full attack. Each attack will take a -4 penalty.
Oh. Now, what would I be rolling for that? It seems
attack
like
rules, ranged attack rules.
Ranged. Oh, I was thinking it might be acrobatics.
Nope, you're still shooting a gun.
Come on, I rolled down the gun. Okay.
I'll give you that one for free.
Yeah, I mean, so one thing you could do maybe is if you want to try to hype it, like wait until I do the shooting and then like do something fancy for the hyping. Like set it to a sweet metal beat.
Dun dun. So, wait, let me check something. So what would I actually be rolling? It would be a ranged attack?
It would be 2 ranged attacks at a -4 penalty, but I will say that Vanky is currently holding onto the turret gun, so Vanky would have to allow you to do that.
Oh. All right, so here's my plan. I'm going to tell Vanky to do what I just said, and I am going to broadcast out the equivalent of a hold my beer on all frequencies. So
nice.
It may even actually have to be the space equivalent of y'all ready for this? That's exactly what it's going to be, and I'm going to hype it, and it's going to be the most amazing moment in the world. And I am in fact going to jump on the gun and grab it with my claw, so that when she does fire, I'm actually going to ride the gun around and give everybody a 360-degree view with my onboard camera.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, you're providing the view, and you can actually have dual cameras. You can show Vanky as like a face, like one of those box in, view in views, and then the 360-degree of all of the firing. So I'm going to say go ahead and take your action now. And whether it really succeeds depends on whether Vangy's action succeeds.
No pressure.
Oh. So my action, what am I doing? What am I
you can make a bluff or diplomacy check.
I'm going to roll diplomacy again because I'm really good at that, y'all. Dun, 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 dun. 23.
Hey. Yep. So he has you teed up nicely, Vanky. No pressure, as you said.
Ugh.
Yep. No pressure.
Is it my turn?
It is almost your turn, but we're going to add a little bit of a complication because now...
Oh, why do you hate me?
The colonizer is here as well, and it's going to shoot acid pods at you.
Sweet.
So your vehicle's EAC is...
The EAC is 15.
Oh, cool. It misses yet again, but
Whew.
it has sidled up next to you.
All right.
It's gaining speed itself. So
Well,
neck and neck, coming to the end of the Rift Spires. Vangi, you're up.
I have a command. So even though the fact that I don't have like, is that just like how that works in Starfinder? Like Pathfinder 2, you can just
Any
make 2
character,
attacks.
yes, that's a full attack action. Is make 2 attacks, each with a -4 penalty.
Crazy pants. All right, let's try it. So that's gonna be a net of +2. Oh wait, no. Plus I get my that's just a net of +2.
What's your regular ranged attack bonus?
My regular range attack bonus is +6 because it's 3 base attack, 2 dex, 1 weapon focus.
So yeah, then +2.
All right.
These are unmoving pillars of rock, so
Yeah, hopefully. Hey, well, that's an 18 on one
that's a hit.
and a 14 on the other.
That's a hit as well. Go ahead and roll damage.
Sweet. I believe it's 44, right, on these.
44.
And I get to add my weapon specialization.
So what's that, +3?
Yep.
Cool.
So 11 damage.
Boom!
Oh,
And
do
then
I roll that twice? One for each?
yeah,
or-
yeah, absolutely.
And then 10 damage.
All right, I'm moving the ship slightly to indicate that you have successfully dodged it. So the actually, wait a minute. You don't have to automatically dodge this. Bob, make some piloting checks.
I will make a piloting check. 24.
Nice.
That dodges one. Make another because they blew up 2 pillars.
I will make another
Go again.
piloting check. 22.
Yes, that dodges both.
Wow.
Okay, cool. Good work. So you guys are able to emerge from the Rift Spires. Hecubino, you're up. It's the tail end here. You can see some of the other vehicles behind you. It looks like the colonizer got smashed pretty decently by those chunks of rock. What do you do?
Do we get a result for Quentin's?
Oh yes,
yeah.
yes. And Quentin did successfully. He promised, and you delivered. So it was a nice 1-2. So you guys have You're currently locked in at the most popular. So that's good. And you think if because your viewership numbers are good and your overall activity is good, if you wanted to make a pitch to your sponsor, you might be able to get something from them.
Okay, yeah, that's what I was thinking. I'll once the gun stops spinning around, I'll motion for Quentin to get me on camera.
Quentin centers him up camera.
I'll be like, boy, I bet they'll wish they had space suds to clean up that mess.
And I'm going to punctuate it with one of those annoying beep 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 horns.
And put on fake sunglasses on me.
Fake sunglasses, and then the little super's going to come up and says, "Deal with it, space suds."
I just imagine all these in neon floating bubble letters.
Yep.
Superimposed over Hecubino.
Yeah, as obnoxious as possible.
Oh my god. All right. So make a bluff, diplomacy, or intimidate check. I'll allow technically any of them. Yeah, sure, why not?
I'll go with bluff. 26.
Okay. You can select Turbo Clean or So Clean It Burns.
Let's go with So Clean It Burns.
Okay. So another weapon has been unlocked on the Sand Skink. It sprays a harshly caustic cleaner developed for industrial waste and corporate sabotage. It is an acid spray, so I will add that attack to the vehicle. And with that, you guys have completed the second segment of the race, the Rift Spires. You're coming to the end of the tunnel, the canyon, and as you begin to exit, you can see the canyons beginning to widen out, and you see an enormous junkyard miles around as the next segment of your first race in Drifters.
Woohoo! That was fun. It's always great when you finish a race first, or at least a stage first. But you're going to have to wait until next week to find out what happens next. But in the meantime, thank you so much for all the kind words that you're sending our way regarding this show. I'm glad so many of you enjoy it. Don't forget to come back next week. And until then, here's hoping all of your dice rolls are critical hits.
This podcast is copyright 2021 by Major Spoilers Entertainment, LLC.